This story comes all the way from Ireland. It is called The Two Foolish Brothers and Their Wishes. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in the countryside of Ireland, there lived two brothers. Their names were Michael and Sean. Now, Michael and Sean lived together in a nice little house. They had a donkey, a cow, a pig, a rooster, and 6 chickens. They also had a large garden where they grew enough vegetables for themselves and some to sell in the village. Now, this garden was right next to a deep, dark forest. Well, one day, when Michael and Sean were weeding the garden, smoothing out the ground, checking the plants, they heard a sound from the forest. It sounded like, well, maybe a cry for help. It sounded like this. Help me, help me. We must go and see what makes that sound, said one of the brothers. And so they picked up their shovels and their hoes, just in case they needed them, and they went into that deep, dark forest. They followed the sounds of that. They heard, help me, until they came to a clearing. There in the clearing, they saw underneath a big tree that a branch had fallen right on top of a little man. He lay there kicking his feet and calling for help, and Michael ran across to lift that heavy branch off of that little man. When his brother Sean said, wait, Michael, look. And Michael stepped back and looked. There underneath that tree were little tiny tools like a hammer and some nails and some tiny, tiny shoes, a green hat. Then he realized that the man underneath the branch was dressed all in green too. Michael looked at Sean and Sean looked at Michael. Is this? Yes, it is a leprechaun. A leprechaun. And Michael said, are you a leprechaun? And the leprechaun looked up at him and said, yes. Can you get this branch off of me? And Sean said, let's ask him for his pot of gold. And Michael, who was the oldest, said, excuse me, but if we lift this branch up, would you reward us with your pot of gold? Well, I just gave away my pot of gold last week. Oh, he just gave away his pot of gold last week, Sean. And Sean said, well, ask him if he has one of those magic purses, the kind that when you open it up, there's a gold coin. And then when you close it and open it again, there's another gold coin. That's wonderful, said Michael. And he asked the leprechaun, he said, do you have one of those magic purses? No, I just gave it away yesterday. He doesn't have a magic purse, said Michael to Sean. Sean said, well, baby. And Sean said, do you have any wishes? And the leprechaun said, oh, but that's all I have left. I only have 3 wishes left. Sold, said Sean. We will lift up the branch if you will give us those 3 wishes. And the leprechaun said, I will reward you if you lift this branch. But if all you want is 3 wishes, well, you will end up no better than what you have right now. We'll take our chances, said Sean. And so, Leprechaun said, you may have my 3 wishes. The 2 brothers lifted up that branch and the leprechaun was gone. His tools, his hat, he had disappeared. wishes. The brothers went back to their garden. They gathered up their tools and they went to their house. They had decided they would put away their tools, take care of the animals, and then go inside. They would fix themselves some supper, and then they would sit down with a piece of paper and write down all the things that they could wish for. Then they would choose the best 3 wishes. Oh, what would they wish for? They could wish for a bigger house, or a bigger farm, or more animals, or maybe they could even wish for a lot of money. Well, they came inside their house and they got out their carrots and their potatoes and their meat. They put a big black pot on the fire and they poured some water in and they made the fire and the water started to bubble. And Michael's stomach started to grumble. He was hungry. He hadn't eaten since breakfast. Oh, Sean, I am so hungry. Sean said, just wait. It won't take us long to fix supper, and then we can sit down and we can write down all of our wishes. Yes, said Michael. And so he began to cut up the potatoes and cut up the carrots, and his stomach grumbled again. Oh, Sean, I wish this stew was already made. And just like that, there was a pot of delicious Irish stew cooking on the fire. Potatoes and carrots and meat. It smelled so good. And Sean said, Michael, what did you do? You just used one of our wishes. You wished for a pot of stew? That is so foolish. That is so foolish. Michael, I wish that pot of stew was on your nose. And just like that, that pot of stew hopped out of the fire and landed on Michael's nose. Oh no. They had used 2 wishes. The 2 brothers looked at each other. Well, Michael did the best he could. He said, Sean, get this pot of stew off my nose. And Sean tugged, ow, and pulled, ow. Sean even asked him, Michael, do you think you could live with... No, I couldn't live with this pot of stew on my nose. We got to get it off. And so the 2 brothers wished. We wish the pot of stew was gone. And just like that, the stew was gone. And so were the wishes. And Michael and Sean looked at each other and realized that what the leprechaun said was right. They were no better off. Maybe next time they'll use their wishes wisely. Thank you so much for tuning in for another story. I will see you next time.